Hello again. In the last video, we've talked about the behavioral part of the interview process from the side of the interviewer. We had the critical success factors and a list of them. And we will need this critical success factors list as well to be used for the creation of the questions. But today we'll start first on the focus on the right questions. We'll start with preparation again, because it's very important to develop the list of questions that gives the candidate a chance to provide examples of past performances and to give examples especially relative to these critical success factors. Because what you would like to know is whether this candidate fits into your position, into your team, and of course using your critical success factors as a baseline. And so you try to dig deeper and try to figure out more about the candidate's personality in terms of these success factors. The questions should provide the opportunity to the candidate to give specific examples related to situations and what they did solve, like their results of their action. So specific as possible. How can you address that? Actually, you take the list, for instance, which is down below the video. You can download that and you can use it as a basic. It's a guideline. It's not a list of the questions you can use all life long. It's a guideline that helps you to start up, to start with the process, and later on you will develop your own questions. You will develop them further. You will get them more detailed to the certain job you're interviewing for. But currently, probably that's enough to have these two columns, which is the critical success factors. And I took 5 as an example, and these 5 are related actually more to the scientific environment for postdocs and young leaders in a scientific ambience and environment. And to the one column of the critical success factors, there's the other one containing the related questions, the examples of the related questions, of course. Okay, so we'll start with the strategic skills. What can you ask for? Usually it makes sense to ask straight, really straight, go straight forward and ask what is your experience in strategic thinking, for instance? Or can you give me examples of successful and unsuccessful approaches? Ask them again for examples. Go to the point, learn more, ask open questions to engage them. You want to know more, you want to learn more about the candidate, so give them the opportunity to provide you more. Another kind of question would what specifically did you do to gain more knowledge, expertise during your postdoc, during your last postdoc, during your PhD position, during your university career, if you're looking at a master's student to hire, whatever. So just adjust it to the situation of the position you're interviewing for. The second, I took the creativity, because I think creativity is quite an important factor in the research community. So how can you ask for creativity? Of course, you can ask for examples again. Could you give me the best examples when you provided your best creative examples within the last project during your period as a PhD, and so on and so forth. You can always limit that as well to, for instance, okay, the last year. Did you have certain creative ideas during the last year? Or can you describe me projects, the solutions you participated in, or which didn't work out? It's quite interesting as well to look at this full picture of the negative side as well. Let them discuss, let them tell your stories. And if you have a more open mindset, you will learn more about the candidate as well, because if there is some creativity, and sometimes if it's like more introverted person, maybe you have to dig a little bit more, but this might be like a hidden gem and really the best person for your job. So again, like this decision making I took as an example because the decision making is quite important as well. And so you can ask for the most recent decisions or difficult decisions, challenging decisions taken in the last year, during the last job. In general, of course, could you name the best and the worst decision you've taken during the course of your work life, during university, during the last job? Again, the same kind of setup, you decide where to go. And then the risk-taking as another success factor. Risk-taking could be a serious problem if you have a high risk taker and you really want to perform an experiment and it has to be performed absolutely according to the protocol, no changes, no challenges. Maybe you would like to exclude this kind of personality. Maybe you would like to include this personality because you have you start a project from scratch and there's really nothing, and you really need someone who likes to take risks because we have to try something, why not try this? Who comes in with creativity and some risk taking. So think about first what is necessary for your job, and this way you can address the questions as well. So in the list you find a couple of questions. For instance, you could you could ask for, looking back in recent years, what are the biggest risks you've taken, what were the most challenging, maybe what were the most challenged by others. Was there any kind of situation that was leading to some kind of conflict, maybe with your superior, with other colleagues? You can even shift over to another success factor, which could be the conflict management. How does this person manage conflicts? So this says a lot about the social way, the social behavior, and how they can integrate themselves well into a team. So looking into the conflict solving is quite interesting as well. So you could ask for instance, like, can you tell me about situations where you did solve a conflict, or where you did get into a conflicted situation with someone in your work environment? Who was it? Was it the superior? Was it the colleague? Was it the colleague next door? How did they approach? How did they manage the situation? Did they manage, or did they just run away and just avoid it? So if this is a pattern, quite often you see that this pattern will repeat. So this will repeat in your lab as well. Or is it someone who says, okay, yes, I had this conflict with that person and I addressed it with him. We couldn't really find a solution. I took it up with my superior and he helped us to solve it. This colleague will never be my friend, but professionally we could work together and we found a way. This is something that gives you more the idea of the personality, the character you have sitting in front of you, and whether this person is suitable for the position you're interviewing for or not. So I wish you fun and good luck for your next interview process, and I'm looking forward to the next video with more information. Bye!